Did you kiss on the first date or no?
Yeah, we kissed before. I kissed when I approached her. I met her in a pub, and then 20 minutes after I isolated her away from her sister, while Jonathan was taking care of his sister who wanted to slap me fucking head off. I wasn't like, oh, your sister is right here. I didn't do that. Let's go, guys. Woo! In this particular scenario, I would assume that there's a high chance that she's going to cancel, at least a 30-40% chance, so you won't get upset then. That'll just be a stoic calculation, and then you can either go to the gym, you can do rock climbing, or you just have another date planned for the same time. Sometimes you're going to do everything right, and you'll think, wow, I had such an amazing interaction with her. For sure we're going to go on a date. Nothing! And you're wondering, what did I do wrong? And sometimes it may be the fact that she has a boyfriend, maybe somebody else fucked her beforehand, some contingency. Or she just didn't like you as much as you thought she liked you. Or she liked you in the moment, but the next day, no. Other times you'll have interactions where you're like, this is never gonna go anywhere, boom, it's on and she loves you.
Yeah, for sure.
More often than not, I would say 70-80% of the time, you'll have a good guess as to whether she's, thank you so much, whether she's really interested in you or not. Got my protein shake here. Is that for you? No. If you want it, you can have it. Okay, you look like you wanted it. But 10-20% of the time, it's a bit of a surprise. And that's the reality of it, and that's perfectly fine. So don't be too bummed about it. Take it stoically. And because that's why you can never allow yourself to get attached to a woman until a couple of months down the line. Mm-hmm. I would have zero expectations regarding any particular interaction with any woman unless we've been dating for several months. Can there be exceptions where it's 3 to 4 weeks? Yeah, sure, fine. But the main reason you want to wait 6 to 12 weeks before making it exclusive is otherwise you're robbing her of the chance to invest in you and to earn you. She will never respect and appreciate you throughout the entire course of your relationship the way she could have if she would have had to earn you in the beginning. And what's the best thing to do when you have a win? Take more action. Use the positive momentum. Don't just sit back and relax now. Use the positive momentum. But again, that's just testament to who you are as a person. You're taking action in your job, you're taking action here, and you're getting the results. What does John Barrows say? A big pipe cures all. A big pipe cures all. And it doesn't refer to having a big dick. It literally means big pipeline, a big amount of options. Most men only struggle in dating, most men only struggle in sales because they don't have enough pipeline, they don't have enough leads. If you have enough leads, you're not worried. How do I become abundant? Well, you have 2 dates a week, every single week for 3 months, and then you find a relationship from a place of abundance. It's very difficult to feel abundant if your next date is going to be in 6 weeks. But if you have a date or 2 a week, perhaps sometimes even 3, then you can't be too scared of losing that particular individual. Because you're like, you're already laughing on the date at the thought of her not being interested in you because you go, no, you got another one lined up tomorrow. And this is not to do that forever. You just do that for 3 to 9 months and then you check out and then you're in a relationship. That's it. Sometimes you just get into being rejected momentum where you anticipate another rejection. For some weird reason, some days it's just off and nothing works. And the best thing to do is to just laugh about it and go out. And tomorrow, the exact opposite might happen. You might do 15 and you might get 4 or 5 Instagrams. Yeah, I overshare because what's happening? If I take 11 seconds to talk about something that she didn't ask me to talk about, she can observe my body language. She can see I communicate in a confident way, in a way where I'm not asking for anything. I told her I'm interested in her as a woman. I'm not trying to sell her the Bible. I'm not trying to get her to join fucking Scientology. She gets to observe me and my inflection and everything. I drop in the fact that I'm visiting, that I'm from London, She observes so many positive things that immediately distinguish me from all the other fucks out there. Any person's reaction, if they're approached in a daytime scenario, is to get the fuck away from that stranger. Human beings do not like strangers unless they meditate. We like the people that are like us and that we want to be like and that we know. We want to be around members of our tribe because a couple of 100,000 years ago, the human brain has learned that if we spend a lot of time around people that we don't know, we die. We get weeded out from existence. And we lose the chance to pass on our genetic legacy to female members of the tribe. So we know that the people we know That's safe. The people we don't know, we want to stay far away from. Some of you, before you joined this, when you heard group coaching, were like, group? Nah, fuck those guys. Because you didn't know them. And now you're like, fucking awesome, cool guys. But we don't like groups of people we don't know. They're not our tribe. But once they become our tribe, you're giving her a chance to observe you for 30 seconds to a minute, and then she'll make a decision. If she ever wants to walk away straight away, that's perfectly fine. But you gotta have a little bit of persistence. You gotta persist 2 times. No, 2 seconds. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not here to convert you to Scientology. I was just like, her outfit is fucking awesome. It really stands out. Had to come meet you because otherwise I probably would have cried myself to sleep tonight. I'm David. What's your name? Boom! Good that you don't want to make her uncomfortable. You should never want to make her uncomfortable, and you got to read her signals. If she tells you to go away or if she walks away herself, you leave her alone immediately. But as long as she's talking to you, she's a free woman. So there's a difference between bars and nightclubs. Nightclubs are the biggest pain in the ass to meet women. You don't have to go to clubs at all. Now, if you do want to go, it can be a place where you can have amazing fun. But it's not necessarily the most efficient way to meet your future wife. Not to say that you can't. You absolutely can. Do this and say, please leave me alone, or thank you, I gotta go now. She'll tell you if she's uncomfortable. Obviously, read it a bit, be respectful, but she'll tell you. Walk with her. Dude, I've had it so many times where you have to reopen, and then first time, her default has to be a no. If she were to say yes to everybody, she'd be pregnant 24/7. It doesn't work like that. Her default has to be a no. Your brain thinks you're going to die if a woman rejects you, and the way you overcome it is by doing it more often. And by understanding that if you're a nice guy, a normal woman is gonna reject a nice person most of the time in a nice way, and it won't be an issue. If she's not a crazy, then you'll be like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? That's it. You just smile, you're just like, hey. And you just don't talk to her, and you don't make it a big deal. You're not butthurt, but you also don't chase her. So you're just like, hey, what's up? You just leave her alone, and you're just like, hey, you smile, she smiles, and you have a bit of a laugh because you both know what happened. It's actually a cool thing. We want to avoid these awkward situations at all costs until we realize we have to seek the awkward. We have to embrace the awkward. I gotta tell you, somebody who's amazing at this is actually my stepbrother and my stepsister. They are geniuses at this. They just don't give a fuck. They absolutely embrace the awkward. They are just, and they're so kind, and they're all doctors, and they're all becoming doctors and all that. They're all genius, super intelligent. But so all of my father's wives' children, who are all doctors or becoming, they're all like that. And my father's wife, she's amazing at it as well, by the way, brilliant. They just address the awkward. And your life is gonna get 1,000,000 times better if you can address the elephant in the room and if you're not afraid of the awkward. You can choose to live in the awkward, and you know what's beautiful? You can let everybody else feel awkward and you can think it's funny. You can just be like, this is funny. You can literally reframe it in your mind that, okay, if somebody's gonna feel awkward, let them feel awkward. And that's not to say that you're gonna be uncalibrated or put people in weird situations, no. But seek the awkwardness of those moments and say, oh, this is funny. It's okay to feel those emotions. It's not okay to be a bitch. It is okay to feel all emotions. And rejection is allowed to hurt. That's fine. But I will not take action. That's what I won't allow. Because if I just take a sufficient amount of action, regardless of the presence of negative emotions, I will accrue the outcomes that I want.
But I saw yesterday like a reel saying like something that it's weird for Americans, that's very normal in Brazil. Like the kind of bikini we use that's very small, in the US it's big, and then kissing public. It was like, in Brazil it's like super common, you know, anywhere you just kiss. But there it's not that common, it's culture, you know.
Well, it's culture, but it's also, he's only getting experience now, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's plenty of American chicks who'll be like tonguing you down, no issue.
Yeah, but she won't be upset.
Did you kiss on the first date or no? Because I don't remember the...
Yeah, we kissed before. I kissed when I approached her. 20 minutes after I met her, we kissed. I met her in a pub, and then 20 minutes after I isolated her away from her sister, while Jonathan was taking care of his sister who wanted to slap me fucking head off, we made out. Yeah.
Yeah, I would not kiss like in front of my friends or my sister.
Yeah, of course.
So I didn't try. I wasn't a fucking idiot. I wasn't like, oh, your sister is right here. No, I didn't do that. So I was like, oh, by the way, let's go over there real quick. It's a bit more quiet.
Get
We can
some
talk.
water.
Then get some water. Exactly. Agua. 2 segundos. Agua. And then I put my back against the wall. I was like, have you ever kissed a German guy? No. Come here then. If she puts something on her profile, that's something that's communicated to the masses that absolutely doesn't apply to me. If she asks me a question, obviously I'll be a respectful person and I'll answer if I feel like it. By the way, just because somebody asks you a question doesn't mean you have to answer it. You can just question the premise of the question itself. Duh. But if she puts something on her profile and she communicates to masses of men, fuck no, I won't respond to that. What am I? A lemming? One of the benefits, one of the untold benefits when you join this program is your dick grows by 4 centimeters, by the way. A really cool way to handle this, which has a 70% plus success rate, which is, just be like, hey, look, Sarah, I really, really enjoyed the time with you. I think you're awesome. I just want to tell you I'm not looking for anything serious at this point in time. So I'd love to keep seeing you, but I respect you. And since I respect you, I'm going to be honest with you. This will probably never, ever be something long term, but I'd love to keep seeing each other and love to hang out. You don't have to tell her that right now. You can wait a bit.
Yeah.
If you already know that for sure, it would be cooler to tell her that now. Because a lot of women will actually, more than 50% of women will keep seeing you on a casual basis for X amount of months. But then you've told her. Oftentimes what can happen is we go into nightclubs or bars, even just, I wouldn't even recommend clubs so much, hardcore clubs, but nice bars are a really cool place where you can meet some people. And we get into this competitive environment. And this is what we as men do. We are testosterone driven. We see other men that we don't know, so we don't like them. And to be honest, some of the men you'll meet, they're pieces of shit, for sure. But a lot of people are really good people. And it's really nice to come from a place of love. As cheesy as this sounds, it's actually the highest level of being, and you can bring that spiritual level of being into such a seemingly low level of existence as in a bar. But it's really cool because if you think of a bar as the fire that we as human beings were dancing around hundreds of thousands of years ago, it becomes a totally different context with a totally new meaning. So everybody likes, oh, bars, but what is it actually? Elon Musk said this on some podcast. He says his son is autistic, and he said he's such a fountain of wisdom because he asked, why do people go to restaurants? And then, I'm not sure, I don't know the exact context, but basically his son came up with the answer and he says, Daddy, we go to restaurants to hang out with strangers. And Elon said, whoa, that's genius. My autistic son is a fucking genius. And no surprise, but it's actually really smart. And now you might say, oh, Captain Obvious, but it really isn't that obvious. Now it makes sense, but it's always easy to be smart in hindsight. But yeah, why do we not just have the same food at home? Well, because we like hanging out with strangers, and what Elon says is so genius. We like strangers more than we think. That's what people didn't understand in 2020. You can't just cut people off from strangers. We like hanging out with strangers. Granted, are there some people where the world would be better off without their existence? For sure. But overall, most people are good people. And so if we understand, oh, I really just go there to connect with strangers and to be there and to have a good time and really be loving, then it's a very powerful frame to come from, I'm already here and I just want to bestow love and compassion. If you're about to get into a fight, well, that's different. Then you obviously want to de-escalate. And you got to have that warrior readily accessible that, not for physical violence, but if somebody's going to try to take your girl, well, there's strategies on how to handle that. Obviously, you won't allow that it's a bit more complex. But the best frame to come from most of the time is love and connection. Now, that doesn't just mean that I'm going to be fucking passive. I will be aggressive. Not aggressive in terms of a person, but aggression just meaning moving forward. I will move towards a desired goal. Now you do want to give it your best shot because success is the ability to go from failure or rather rejection to rejection without the loss of enthusiasm. Because even though you statistically know that the next woman you're going to speak to won't be your wife, you have to talk to her as if. Because when I actually met Fernanda, it didn't matter that the previous 200, 71, 42 weren't. If I hadn't brought my A game when I met Fernanda, Fernanda wouldn't be here right now. By the way, even when you're in a relationship, you should still go out and socialize. You can bring your woman, go out and socialize and talk to people. Don't stop socializing. Don't stop hanging out with male friends. One of the biggest mistakes men make. They get into a relationship, they stop socializing. We as human beings need a tribe, not just one person. Men become cucks when they only hang out with one woman. I mean, you can have your wife, but then you still need to spend time with male friends and go out and socialize. And you can wing your friends, or you can talk business, but you need a social circle outside of that woman. Absolutely crucial for happiness. Science is very clear. If you want to be in a peak state, you engage your voice. You have to use your voice. Even if you don't know, even if you just go, let it go. Or it's just like, I'm never going back. The past is in the past. Let it go, let it go. Ideally, have some empowering lyrics. So the lyrics should be, somewhat empowering. But if you do that, you have an empowering emotional state instantaneously accessible. Every time, drive into the fucking fields, into the woods, do it at home where nobody can hear you. It's so powerful, instantaneously. It's just like, no rules for me, I'm free. But you have to actually use your, it's not even about sounding good. I don't sound good. I don't do this for anybody else. The only reason I do it, well, for me, I actually do sing because it helps the health of the vocal cords because I do talk so much. But primarily, 95% of the reason I sing is because I want to feel good. I suggest doing that every day. Do that shit before a date. Watch your performance on a date be so much better. You have so many stories that you have about your life that you could access that you're not accessing because you're not in flow. This puts you into flow. This puts you in a high performance in a peak state. It's readily accessible. You can do it in a car. Rent a car, drive around your car. Whenever Fernanda and I drive somewhere, I do that shit. Every time. I once did that. We had a client over. Fernanda, me, Jonathan, and the client drove to the other side of Ireland. And I did that just for an hour and a half in the car. And he was like, are you fucking crazy? You're insane. For like an hour and a half or an hour, he was like, he's not stopped. It was like a 3-hour ride and I was doing this for an hour and a half. I was singing like crazy. He was like, are you insane? Do that before a date. Do that before a presentation. And you will be able to access flow. You'll come across way more confident. Your vibe changes. And this lasts for hours, by the way. You'll have to refresh it a couple times during the day. Not necessarily like this, but you have to do certain things to boost your state during the day. You don't just do it once and then for 16 hours you're in a peak state. It doesn't work like that. Do you have to do that to live and survive and to be okay in life? No. But if you want absolute and utter peak performance, yes, these things are necessary. And successful people do what failures won't. Even Ray Dalio, what does he do? For him, it's meditation. But he has an unusual habit which he does every day. Ray Dalio, he says he would have never gotten to the level of success if it hadn't been for meditation. It's very unusual to meditate every day for 20, 30 minutes. He's been doing it for 20, 30 years. Successful people do what failures won't. The most successful people, almost all of them, have some habits. Some, they just go about the work, that's fine. But like even people who shit on personal development, like they work out every day. They have some habit. It doesn't have to be this. But, by the way, for anybody who thinks, oh, it's so funny, right? In society, whenever there's a trend, there's a counter trend. Years ago, people came up with this idea of a morning routine. People like Tony Robbins talked about it. It's amazing, and you should do it. Some people say, you don't need a morning routine. You can just do the work. Fine. Yes, you can. But think about Milton Erickson. He had polio. He had to have a 2 to 3 hour morning routine and hypnotize himself to an extent where he didn't feel pain, or at least where he felt decreased the pain to such an extent that he was able to teach other psychologists. He had to hypnotize himself for 2 to 3 to 4 hours every morning, or at least before seminars, to be able to cope with the pain of polio. If he can do it every day for 2 to 3 hours to be able to function, can I not do fucking half an hour? Do the singing, go hard, but don't just go like, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. You will feel emotions you haven't felt in a while. Emotion truly does come from motion. Use your body first, you'll feel the emotions. How are you going to get a girl to feel emotions if you can't generate those emotions from within? That's one way of doing it. It's not more, it's whatever works better for you, but why not do both? Why not do this for 7 minutes and do your meditation if you want to? Why not do this for 4 or 5 minutes? Do it for the duration of 2 songs. There's no reason not to do this for 6 minutes. You know? It's not, I wouldn't say it's or. If you like, there's no reason not to meditate. The science is absolutely clear that meditation is amazing. Yes to meditation, but guess what you're not doing while you're meditating? Using your voice. Yes, when I meditate, my energy explodes at night and you'll get into flow more because cortisol is reduced. Meditation is amazing, yes. But why not do that and 6 minutes? You don't have 6 minutes? Bullshit. You know? Even just 3 minutes. Let it go, let it go. 100%. But you can have high energy in a calm fashion. You can have calm high energy and you can have hyperactive loud high energy. Both is fine. Find your own communication style, but your energy should still be high, no matter how calm you want to communicate it. Does that make sense? And by the way, this is not just to get the girl. You keep doing this for the rest of your life. Am I more playful and fun around Fernanda when I do this or less? More. Is she happier? Yeah, amazing.